Imaging camera, so you should be able to see me in there.
Yep.
So I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy.
Yep.
Sorry, gents, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now. Yep, that normally kills with the bridal parties, just so you know. But we're looking for blue and black. We want it to either move or take shape. So the blue and black are going to be the cold areas. And with that taking shape, I want head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. So I want a cold person walking towards us, if that kind of makes sense. And you're looking at me like, oh my God, what did we sign up for? She is staring at this screen like you would not believe. The cool thing about this, when you guys get your video back, there is a blue dot on the screen that shows you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. That's the beauty of having a FLIR. Now, the cold spot is a blue dot. I'm looking for 15+ degree temperature drops when I spot check your video. It is 71 degrees out here ambient, so I'm going to be looking for 56 degrees and colder in the event that we don't have a moving cold person walking towards us. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so with this one. Okay.
Ah, gotcha.
There we go. Unmute. Let's do this. Okay, everybody listen in, and we're going to see how this goes. It's going to get a little blurby from time to time.
Oh, I see.
Eliza, if you're here, this group would like to know how old you were when you passed away. We're going to stay together tonight as a group instead of wandering around all asking questions. So, can you tell us how old you were when you passed away? Now you can see when a voice comes through, it's very distinctive because most of it's going to be static. Just heard do. Eliza, how old were you when you passed away? Thought I heard like Maria out of that. Did anybody else hear that?
I heard something.
Yeah. And I do use the radio chatter to try to get that communication. And you'd be really surprised at how much of that actually comes through where it's a direct answer. Eliza, let's redirect and maybe ask something else about where we are. Can you tell us what happened to your beautiful mansion? Where did it go? How's the letter list? Where did that go? Who has that?
Me.
Do you have anything showing up there?
A you.
Just a you? Eliza, can you tell us what happened to your mansion, please? Come with respect, as always.
Leadership.
Bless you. Bless you again. Eliza, we've asked you a few questions. Feel free to answer either one of those. I heard like tell me. Eliza. I'm going to tell the rest of the story, but you need to give us at least a few pieces of the gaps. So you guys can all see how difficult this can be. It takes a lot of patience to sit here and listen to this. I hear letters. What do you got?
P.
For Pinckney.
Maybe.
Anything else on there? Still on leadership? Any numbers showing up on our EMF readers?
No.
14.6. I'll take that.
14.6.
It just went to 2.6.
Yep.
Oh.
I guess I need to
Describe.
Yeah.
Describe.
9.7. That's the 0.1.
Absolutely. Go for it. It's
See,
your
I
night.
was scanning around to see if there was anybody else here besides us. But I'm not seeing anything.
guess the word comfort.
Scientific, at least.
I don't think so. Pre-programmed.
Static.
Yeah.
Static. Yeah.
Eliza is on vacation.
A bit of a heavy metal music.
I thought maybe flattery would work. Not flattery, but here's Myra. That's a great story.
Yes.
Indigo Girl.
And no other words are showing up there? Describe, no letters.
Hey.
Yeah, not a whole lot of nothing going on. We have some small readings going on this end. Oh. Eliza, we're trying to show you trust. By all means, it was. But it's still really vague. It's nothing super specific. It's more conversational than anything.
Do we know where Eliza died?
Do I know where she died?
Do we know that she died here or?
Oh, you all don't know that.
Right. Not yet.
Not yet. I don't reveal all the answers until we actually do a little investigating.
Gotcha.
So that way you're not looking for something specific.
That's a great idea. Are there nights where she doesn't? Are there nights where she doesn't?
There are nights when this is a little lighter. And it's, I'll be honest, it's normally Friday, Saturday nights when it's super hustle bustle down here.
Oh, that makes sense.
A little bit. Eliza, would you like us to close this down? I'll take a yes/no answer at this point.
I got something. Something. I just heard something.
That's
That's right. There you
So
go.
she wants us to close it down. Okay,
Yeah, you
perfect.
did know.
Okay. All right, so let's cover the answers. So for some of you looking around at this device going, oh, it might be pre-programmed. It might actually have some recordings in there.
Right.
We can slow it down, and I'll show you the live radio stations if you really want to see how this works. But again, this is, I normally have 4 or 5 of these running when I have my standard groups. And I usually have an earbud in. So they're the only ones to hear it in real time, and they're actually off asking their own questions and those kind of things, and they get their own answers. So that's half the fun of this. So let's kind of, what I'm excited about is we did get all the way up to a 14.6 on the EMF reader. So did you get anything out of yours? Richard? AH. Maybe those are all your gasps. So Richard, no colors out of yours?
Keep going from
No,
one letter.
nothing at all.
They don't make any sense.
Yours is usually the most sensitive. I would say the GAIL's is probably the most accurate. All right, so let's kind of cover these answers a little bit and kind of show you how we look at some of these answers and see how they all tie together. So normally, I would hand out the questions when I have a lot of communication devices out and they're all spread out of the maiden name. The reason why, this is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. This is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife dies in January of 1744. He marries this one 5 months later. Yeah, kind of a jerk move, gentlemen, if you really think about it. So, ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. So I normally hand out the question of, figure out which Eliza we're dealing with by asking for the maiden names. This one obviously being Lucas. The first one was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So, Lamb and Lucas will show up on different types of communication devices. We've even had it spelled out for us on Jeannie's device. So Lamb is a 4-letter word, very easy for them to be able to communicate that back. This wife, the second one, marries Charles at the age of 22. Charles was 45. That's creepy to me because I'm close to Charles's age and my oldest daughter is Eliza's age. So it kind of tells you why it's a creepy age gap for me. I normally, you guys even heard me ask, like, hey, tell us what happened to the mansion. This is one of the very few photos of the mansion that we know that exists. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. In the event that we get something from the words like fire, burning, or blaze, we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of this occurrence. This happened on December 11th of 1861. You can imagine my excitement when very exact numbers like 12, 11, and 61 will show up with the word fire. So again, that's very exciting things. Every tour in town tells you about a fire in town. You guys already, there wasn't much of a structure left. We've had dozens of fires here in Charleston. You guys already knew that. But this is the fire that took out the mansion. Obviously, you're looking at a map of the peninsula, and we are standing on the tiny little green dot right there. So this was about $9 million worth of damage back then. I don't know what it equates to now because inflation changed again yesterday. Because that's just the way our world works. So the children, we didn't even touch base on the children other than Charles. I am going to tell you very briefly about the children, just so you know what I'm looking for when I'm kind of going through all of your data. Charles, signer of the Constitution. The next child I bring up is Thomas. He fought in a Revolutionary War battle, the Battle of Camden, just southwest of here, and he was shot in his left leg and captured by the British. When the British released him, he was left on a cane and a limp. So any portrait you'll find of Thomas after that battle is of his right side to hide his left leg with a cane over his lap. So you can see the very specific clues that will pop up around Thomas. The next child is baby George. This is where things might get a little hairy with what you have going on. And you already see where this one's going because of his name of what I called him, baby George. Baby George in June of 1747 was born and passed away. Now, his death certificate only says June 1747 in both the birth and death columns, which means we don't know if he was only a few days old or if he was a few weeks old. My guess is that it's 1747, and you wouldn't name a child back then until they were christened. He was at least 2 weeks old minimum, is my guesstimate. So again, take that for what it's worth. A lot of research goes into this. The other crazy thing about George is he does not have a headstone, he does not have a grave. I have a theory. The church may have allowed the family to mummify him and keep him right here in the home, in a tomb, waiting for the mother to pass away, Eliza, so that way he could be buried with her. It's a great possibility since there's no headstone, no grave. There's no proof of it anywhere, but it is kind of a creepy and endearing thought all at the same time based on our religious standards today, correct?
Is that something that was done?
What's that?
Is that something that was done?
Absolutely. It was a religious practice. Yeah. I know. It's weird, but according to the way we think about things today.
Right. Okay.
It'll get more weird when I tell you about Eliza's death. One more child. Her name was Harriet. She's the only daughter. She marries Daniel Ori. Where's Ori County, everybody? You all know where that is, right? So I would expect we're going to be a little bit higher in here because we do have the lamp posts. For those of you that have those EMF devices, so you're going to have a little bit higher than a 2.5. So we're going to go through that just like we did before, Donna. I'm going to go through the history here, and then we're going to circle around, just like what we did before. So if you have a camera,
Been in this hour before.
Yep. This space I'm actually going to be retiring this year, so this month will be the last month I'm actually coming down here for these reasons. So I try to stay away from all the other ghost tours. But this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. So this is where some of the duels used to occur in the city of
I've
Charleston.
been here
And I say
before.
some
The other
simply
ghost
because dueling was illegal, and they had to find hiding spots. This happened to be one of them. So here's how this story goes. We're all telling the same story. I'm just giving you different details because you're ghost hunting. You're supposed to be looking and listening for certain things, right? So let's kind of go through this. Of course, this is going to be where every tour wants to interrupt us and cut right through. This is another reason why I want to get rid of this space. But doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If we hear a snippet from Brown Eyed Girl while we're down here, when we're listening to that, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time. It's part of his name. So again, take that for what it's worth.
Okay, we got a group coming through.
Oh, perfect. Split the seas, let them pass through. Jones the lone wolf out there, all by her lonesome.
And a guy got shot here.
Now you guys can see why I don't go to 20 people.
My God.
More than 20. They don't have cool devices.
With more than 20. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just stay at 10 to 12. When we came out of the pandemic and they're like, you gotta be at half capacity, I was like, I'm already there. I'm good to go. So, but anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. He's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. She just inherited a bunch of money from her deceased parents, and she has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money, and on his way into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay here, but somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Here's where I stop. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. So on that, basically the letter device over there, we would get the letters RI from a regular spirit box. So I bought that specific device to see if we would get the very specific letters, and we have. Over the past 8 months, we've had it, I would say, about half a dozen times whenever I bring up Ralph's name. So we look for the letters RI while we're here. Now, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street, and you can rent a room from friends of mine, and you'll be safe and good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash. She gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they can be married.
Shoot.
We're in Dueler's Alley. Yes, that's the good stuff right there.
What is it?
It says the word shoot.
Shoot.
Oh, shoot.
So you guys can all see where, like, that's a great clue.
Yeah,
So we're on the right
DONNA.
path here. So
How come you
once
push the
Dr. Ladd
button?
hears that his
Oh,
fiance is moving
it
down
got
here,
stuck.
yeah, and it's not necessarily stuck, because it'll just wait for that EMF spike.
Okay.
So it works the exact same way all of the EMF readers do. So it's reading the EMF and it stops the cursor. But he becomes known as the whistling doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Any haunted city you're ever going to go to has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens
I'm
to be
getting
a
a lot
doctor.
of cues.
But anyway, back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So on the way home, they go see Richard III, and they're talking about this play and the new actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. And it gets very ugly. They go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes and places an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind that this argument started over an actress. So just want to point that all out. Anyway, they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up, which is often what happens at a duel. Ralph has this one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Yeah, another jerk move. I talk about a lot of jerks, gentlemen, just so you guys know. So anyway, the doctor drops to the ground. He does not die. His friends picked him up. They took him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then, and he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. So, but he failed because he died. So we are getting very close to that date of the alleged, because it depends on which version of the story you read. Some say it was 10 days later, some say he died 6 days later. We're never really going to know. All we know is his actual death date, but October 23rd would be the alleged date of the duel. Every tour that's down here is telling their guests to listen for the whistles, right? So we have 3 video cameras running, plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a whistle, it'll be there. I will tell you that we've had the word whistle show up on spirit boxes with the word doctor after it. So it'd be like a doctor, you know, kind of like he's just letting us know that he's here kind of mentality. We also get relevant numbers to his death date and his birthday all the time, especially his birthday, and I'm not going to tell you what those numbers are because I don't want you guys listening for those, but that kind of is the mentality of it. Here's what I'm going to tell you. His alleyway is a lot different. If you're going to try this on your own and try to, you know, take a voice recorder or your phones all the way down and try to listen for those whistles, just keep in mind that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. We all do it. So I do it every single morning when I'm done going through your data, because my office is here, my parking garage we passed. So I have to pass the alley. I do it every morning at 3:30 to 4 o'clock. Do I get whistles back? Who knows? I don't always hear them back. Now, I will tell you that this alley didn't always go all the way through that way, the way we came in. A little history lesson for you here. This will show you how I got kicked out of here. This is the fun part of the story, by the way. So how I got booted out. There was a wall, probably maybe 15, 20 feet away from where we are. So the reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It used to be called Cow Alley. So basically a bunch of cows and chickens down here. What does that mean for you guys on why I'm telling you all of this? The bricks on the other side are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. If you go to some of our Charleston museums, you can actually see some of them on display. It shows kind of how far we've come from slavery. When I first started doing this and really didn't know what I was doing yet, I used to take my groups all the way through. And I would show the handprint, because we all need to see it. It wasn't a ghost thing. It was like a, hey, there's a piece of history. However, when I have groups this size, they all want to huddle around that brick and wait and see what happens. I know nothing's going to happen because I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. So November 26th, 2020. I'll remember the date forever in my mind, forever. My entire group huddled. I'm trying to shoot them all on because it's also outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't realize that I was out of bounds. I was trying to shoot them along, just trying to be respectful. So the new owner of that mansion came out yelling at us. My daughter thought it was great because her dad's getting yelled at. She thought it was hysterical. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because before I started doing these tours, I actually worked for Walmart for almost 20 years. So you guys, in upper management. So you can almost see exactly why I don't tour on Thanksgiving. I used to break up the fights with the towels and TVs, right? So the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened. He laughed at me, just like my daughter did. And he said, you're only allowed to go down halfway. That's kind of how it works. That's the cutoff point. So you got to reroute the group. So I told my group, I don't believe in the next story at all because I've never had anything happen with my equipment there. And I'm a vampire person, not a pirate guy. So we're talking about pirates next, in case you haven't picked up on that piece. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So that's kind of like, okay, maybe we got something. Just kind of like what we had shoot here a minute ago. We go around the corner. I told them what I did know about piracy. Wasn't much, because I only had about 6 hours to research. And I told them I didn't believe in any of it anyway. However, somebody else hears the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. I wrote it down. So I looked it up the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th year anniversary of her pirate trial. Some of you are like, yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. I was angry. Let me tell you why. I have a master's degree in creative writing. And even when I'm doing this or writing fiction, I like facts and data to be able to spin things off of or to see where things actually fall in line with legitimacy with ghost hunting. Because again, this is what I do. Joan actually asked me she's like, you should do this for a living. I'm like, I do this for a living. So, I go to people's houses. I join other teams. I have expertise with spirit boxes. But my point is, with pirates, it's pirate lore. So that's the problem is that was written 100 years after the alleged happenings. So trying to piece it all together, I've had to read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life. Just to try to make sure like what we're about to talk about next is legitimate. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to go down a little bit further in front of that gate of where that last tour guide was, and we're going to listen to Donna's device for a few minutes, see if we get anything, and then we're going to go up and around the corner and talk about some stuff over there. Where we're at right now, that's the front. It's residential area. So just think if you live there, and you had towards that spot every night, especially with the large groups that you see walk by. All right, let's listen in on Donna's device and see what we can get. I'm up to 4.2. Oh, what's that? Dr. Ladd, if you're here, can you give us a number from your birthday, please? That would be fantastic. Or anything else you want to tell us.
I'm sorry. It's all right.
You've been steady right there, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's coming from the light post. Mm-hmm. What was that? Something in there, I just couldn't make it out.
It said it's you.
Dr. Ladd, if you're here, make it nice and simple. Just give us a number from your birthday. How's our letters coming back there?
E.
Anything spelled out for us?
Nah.
Nothing.
And
Enough.
Dr. Ladd, if you're here, what do you want to tell us? You could say something like your own name. You can say, your fiance's name, where we are.
okay, we got a group. Pull in,
Another group coming. Go ahead and
Jim.
put it on mute.
Pull in, Jim. Pull in, Jim.
Hey, so good evening. How are you?
It's October. Yeah, this is also just busy as some No, it's just October. That's it. Everybody wants to do something spooky.
Okay. The alley is
All green.
open.
Oh, one more.
Oh, never mind.
How's our word list? Where's that coming in?
Dignify.
What was the
Dignity.
Dignity.
Oh, I think that would be honor.
Yeah. It's kind of a stretch, but I like it. What was before that? Go ahead and hit that white box.
No.
Dignity red, swell crystal shoot, and white bitter engine preserve purple.
Okay. I don't know where that red came from. Interesting. And then that top right button will take you back to the main screen whenever you're ready. All right, let's hit that on mute button. We'll listen for another minute or two because we're not getting anything so far. Just a couple of little EMF spikes. Anything else coming up on here?
3.5, 6.
Maybe it's me.
No. Dr. Ladd,
It's a video.
anything you want to give us?
Oh, that's right. It's the stick man.
Stickman camera.
See, if we move over here, I got well over 4.
You're getting closer to the light in the building.
Oh.
Got it.
There's nothing.
Nothing coming
I
through.
already noticed when I put this in, the number goes up steadily.
Yeah, probably because you're getting closer on.
Right. When I turn around, it goes down. Yeah, so it's picking up everything else.
I noticed the other ghost groups don't have the neat stuff that we have.
Landon?
No, I don't.
My daughter's name is London.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the one that was laughing at me hysterically.
So he's reminding you.
Yeah. But I would think that London would show up before Landon. London's a little bit more common. I don't know. I heard go. Dr. Ladd, do you want us to leave?
yes, yes. The tournament says
You said yes?
yes. I heard yes for the women.
Well, yeah, I heard a man's voice when I thought it was a woman.
I can't distinguish.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. It's definitely not an easy task. That's why I figured we'd do this one as a group. So you can see, like when I have teenagers in the group, they get the ones that go in their ears. So, and it's constant. Like there's no breaks. Like this one's breaking up. Okay, we're gonna go back out the way we came. Any other all the way down the Quinn Street and then double back with the dead body. So just taking away time to go celebrate the winter. So, but the wrought iron that's in there probably was put there in the 1900s. So, wait a minute, you're double fisted. What happened? Oh. So is everything okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I see her smile, so I know she's good now. All right. So,
When we came out of
yeah.
this was way over 6. And then it was 5.
And when we should be expecting the next one.
I know. I don't. I can't win.
I'll write those numbers down. So I can always tell this speaking story. But I figured we're going to add some extra stories in tonight, but every tour stops at the same point as their kind of grand finale. So I don't always tell this story unless something pops up with the devices about it, but we're going to kind of go through it, and then we're going to go up to the cemetery once they're gone and kind of show you why they're telling that story. There's a sign right inside the gate that says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." And that's because they don't want guys like me going up there trying to recreate what actually happened. Here's how it goes. 1888, a young lady passes away by the name of Sue Howell. So here's your sign. It's right here in front, just so you guys know. And if you guys want to gather around, I'll kind of show you this photograph real quick, and then we'll take some pictures and a little bit of video in here. So here's the photograph that the photographer took. And what you're looking at is basically, you guys see where the cross headstone is back there on the right? It is just beyond that. So your apparition is right here. You're looking at the back of a woman. She's kneeled down by her own grave with a baby basket right next to her. You guys see what I'm looking at?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can see where like this is, and even so the full photograph this way, and then your apparition is right here. The back of a woman wearing a shawl and a baby basket right next to her. So even zoomed in further on a computer screen, you can actually see the weaving of the basket. Like that's how clear it is. So it is it's pretty impressive for guys like me that study this on a regular basis.
Did you take that?
I did not. This was the one I told you that was taken in 1986. So there have been other things caught around that date on the same date, but nothing as clear as this. I've looked at them; they're pretty wispy. Could be debunked pretty easily by light fixtures. Which, by the way, that light fixture up to the left is actually directed right at us. So guys, people like us can't take pictures and photographs. It's pointed right at the sign right here. It says there's no ghost here besides the whole ghost. So they do that so we get a light blur, and that way we can't take pictures and stuff like we need to. But my camera's cut right through that stuff, doesn't it? So I'll let you guys kind of like look in there for just a second, especially the camera, so you guys can get a minute or two of footage. And then we will go across the street and talk about some crazy pirates and see if we can get out of that mess. If you want to, we'll give it a minute or so. We'll see if we get anything out of it. I'll let you listen in. And that date that she passed away, by the way, was June 12th. So it was on the exact date of when she passed away.
Why would I be getting sticks?
Are you getting sticks over there?
I know. I just got I know.
How's our word list coming, John? Got anything on there?
Translate sanctity. Sanctity.
Sanctity?
Sanctity and I know.
I got you. I hear you. He's excited. Well, those are being written down for me.
Getting anything?
So,
No, you?
No.
I mean, see if I try.
so I mean, we're near a cemetery, so there could be a number of things coming through, but it's another few. It's not a full investigation here because we never know who we're talking to when we're this close.
Even though he said he's into it,
But hopefully,
Well,
around the date
the
of
light
his
is
death, we would hope we were talking
heating
to
up
her.
everything.
But we're not near that date. So the things that she's getting coming through, I have no idea what's coming through. We do get a lot of religious terms, no matter where we are in this vicinity, starting with Philadelphia Alley, just based on the church. Stuff comes up all the time.
So we got I know and sanctity.
Got it. I wrote them down already. All right, you ready to learn about pirates?
Oh, yes.
All right.
I got fox.
Okay.
There's a new term. A new meaning.
Why? I got a fox. We had a coyote in our backyard last night. Yeah.
Are you guys do the ghost story too? The tour? Are you missing two people?
Nope, I'm already got all my photos.
Where are you going if you're trying to get started?
This late, you're probably not going to get on anything.
We had a concept like that.
This late, you're probably not going to find anything. But this is probably great for running a bulldog tour. But yeah, more than likely.
Okay, we just have to give it all a call.
Thank you. We do have a car.
He said he thought there was a 9:30.
The curve, yeah.
No, I can't stop the arrow. You just
So, let's do Jones. Look at Jones.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Who's hot dancing? I'm gonna walk behind you.
Yeah. You can see through clothes.
What kind of camera he's got?
It's been more entertaining than you think. Hey, we picked a good night to walk around town.
Find a secret high in there because we do have swamp blocking area. So that's a thing, obviously around here, but there's no history of him around this specific spot. Like I kind of look at the vicinity. So when you said Fox, like that was the first thing that popped in my head. Like we're not near his grave. Obviously, we're not near Francis Marion Forest. We're anything of prominence. So I'm still going to write it down just to see if there is, to kind of remind me to research it a little bit, because I've never had anything with Francis Marion. But again, Fox would be easy to spell because it's only 3 letters. But so why did we get it? That's kind of my thing. I know you've been getting X's all night, and we're about to talk about pirates where X marks the spot. But again, I like when words come up. Usually they have a pretty deep, understanding of something. So most tours, when they come through here, by the way, and I do get a lot of poachers, like what just happened. Like people will try to sneak on, and then I'm like, you don't have a blinky light device. You need to go. So I keep them up.
Helpful.
Yeah, exactly. And another reason why I keep the small groups and try to remember everybody's name, which I think I've still got a few of you mixed up. I thought I'd be really good with you guys tonight. And it's honestly, it's the 2 of you that I think I keep getting mixed up. So it's Dennis?
Yes.
And Dave.
Very good.
Okay. Yeah.
He's right.
Well, last night, everybody's name started with an A or a K. Like literally, everybody on the tour. It was the craziest thing ever. All the tours will come through here and talk about the Gunpowder magazine. Have you guys been here and heard about this place? Okay, we're going to be looking at it in a little bit of a different light. I like to at least tell people like what those crosses are on the building first. So if you're unfamiliar, earthquake bolts. So you guys lived here, you've taken history tours, earthquake bolts. I bring those up specifically because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. That's part of the reason why we're here. The reason those are the first set is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because Anne Bonny came here during the time frame of this building being constructed, and it's something familiar to her. So on the TV shows, they use another device with a teddy bear, and it basically has Richard's device in it, so you can see the lights blinking, so the child ghost will come close, and you can see it light up. They do that because the child is familiar with the toy. It's the same type of principle with this building. We don't have many buildings this particular age group, if you're getting my point. So Anne would recognize this building. But the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government, small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. But our history begins, Dennis, your camera is upside down. So we're going to have upside down. There you go.
Well, you didn't tell me there was a right side up.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll try to fix it. Well, the camera, I always tell him horizontal camera on the left, and he had it on the right.
Okay.
So the history, yeah, just look at it like this. The history of Anne Bonny starts right in the middle of that construction of 10 years.
So, when I toured that was a powder magazine. But you're saying the original purpose of the building was for burying.
No, you're correct.
Okay.
It was originally made in the construction of it to be a gunpowder magazine.
Okay, but why the crosses?
Because this is a government building. It held gunpowder for the government.
Oh,
so
okay.
the reason why, and I know that earthquake took place in 1886, but they wanted to make sure if that was going to happen again, which it hasn't,
Right.
the government building was protected. So that's why those are the first set.
Gotcha.
So that's the reason why.
Okay.
So yeah, we're talking like 100 years after the fact.
Okay.
When you
Over 100 years later. So I want to say those were actually put in 1892, even though the building was built in 1713. They just wanted to make sure it was going to be protected in case we got another earthquake.
when you were talking about Anne Bonny and what she died from, the speculative TB came out.
Like tuberculosis.
Oh my goodness. Maybe.
It's a possibility. I can't prove it, but it's a great possibility. At least we have something. Donna, do we have any voices?
In order.
Is that what you heard? In order.
And drop tests or something? I'm not sure what. Drop tests?
How's our word list coming?
Good regarding writer, include intellectual theme, always July.
You got July?
Yeah.
Yes. July, we asked for the doctor's birthday, and we normally hear double sevens. July 7th. So I'm going to take that one. That's a win. So it's a little late, but at least he gave it to us. So hopefully we have a 7 that'll pop up later on. In order. I don't think Donna's playing very nice.
She's ignoring us.
I know, it's because I'm talking. She's trying to listen.
It's hard to separate the static.
Yeah.
List.
What list, Ann? What do you want us to know? What's about this list? I don't know what that means. In order list? Like, what is going on there? Like, that sounds like she's trying, like it's something coming through.
But she said man. Can. I have can. Man?
Can. She has can.
Weird. Some of these words I'm not seeing here.
Because they come through really
Are
fast.
you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay, Ann, we're ready. We're listening. What do you got? Give us some of those answers. Tell us your dad's name. What was your father's name?
Do you know the answer? Her dad's name?
Yeah, I don't give you stuff I don't already know.
Shout it out.
It said shout. Ann, what was your father's name? You can use any of the boxes that we're using tonight. Ann, can you tell us what's walking by? What type of animal are we hearing right now? What kind of animal is walking by? Can you tell us what you see?
Fine.
I'd like to ask a lot of real-time questions just to make sure we have verification.
Of course.
No numbers at all on your end?
Tell me.
See, that was the highest we've been.
And we got that electrical pole right there.
Big
I
guy
was
sitting
sitting
over
over
in
him.
the shade. But,
Still gonna give off a little bit.
yeah.
Talk to us.
And
Tell us what we need to know.
she did. She said, find the man on the list in order. And can you tell us anything about Mr. Blackbeard and his history here?
B came. Yeah.
Do you see if they become words like the next one, BQ?
No, the only word I got was fox. We had a lot of cues too.
And if you're here, we've asked you a few questions. Try to answer some of them. Did you saw an animal go by? We asked for your father's name. I missed it. That car's too loud.
Yeah.
Houston.
Miss Houston?
I thought he said yeah. Yeah. Addie? Addie? A-D-D-Y? Why did you ask that?
Ask what?
That's what that just said. Why did you
No.
ask that?
We're old.
I'll get old or something? Yeah. I was solo. Amazing.
You guys are getting good at this. And we're looking for your father's name. Can you give that to us, please? Get some verification that you're here.
This car's not going to lose.
No other letters.
C.
And tell us what we need to know before we wrap this one up. We heard a lot of terms, we just don't know what they mean. stinks.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Oh my gosh.
It's an older
It's an
car.
old car.
No, it's just old.
No, it's probably what, like
The 80s.
the 80s.
80s.
With the front ends.
Nuts. You get nuts?
What do you got on there now?
Next.
Next.
Yeah, next.
And,
There he's leaving.
alright, now that he's leaving, we'll give it another minute.
Something man again.
C keeps coming back. C. Chuck.
There is a Charles Pinckney across the street. 2 of them, actually.
Yeah.
The same cemetery that we were just looking at.
Take you back?
Eliza's husband and nephew were buried across the street.
Okay.
And you gotta be a little bit more specific. You know how these boxes work. It's not like I'm not here every day. Your father's name or your mother's name. We'll take your mother's name at this point. Notice I didn't say mom and dad. That's not a thing that's going to be said in the 1700s. I use mother and father. I try to talk to the boxes. I don't say spirit box. She doesn't know what that is. You know, I try to keep the language very plain. And we got another one of those animals coming by. Can you tell us what we're seeing or what we're hearing? Not a clip clopping.
Must be a reindeer. An R came up.
That was, I don't know, but that didn't sound like radio to me. You're still on next.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to talk tonight.
And we're being very brief in these spaces, just so you know. Like normally in an investigation, I'm here for hours
I
doing
get
this.
that.
So I mean, we're in here like 10 to 15 minutes at a time. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have a lot of things that you heard, and along with the next could have been the, hey, you need to get the hell out of here kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm thinking.
and we're gonna say goodnight. Can you say goodnight back to us?
Thanks.
It's a kiss.
Good night,
She
Ann.
gave us a kiss.
All right, let's go ahead and hit that mute button. Let's cover the answers and tell you what we're doing next, because I'm going to take Joan the Third over there, and we're going to run a little